I'm gonna purposely let the thermal stone drop just to show you guys a quick tip on how you can actually repair these. I was really shocked when I realized you could do this, but it's just something to make note of. Now remember, whenever you demolish something with a hammer, you get half of the materials used to make that object. So in other words, for every 2 pig houses we break down, we ourselves can prototype and make 1 pig house for ourselves. Why is that important? Because the pig houses are the spawners for the pig men. And that is going to be very important for making the pig farm. Very much like the berry farm, we're going to be making a bait pen, and we're just going to surround that pen with pig houses. That way, every full moon night, you see where I'm going with this? Every full moon night, the pig men will turn into werepigs, and by extension, they will always drop 2 big meat and 1 pig skin. Yeah, it's very valuable, even on a basic level. Although I myself have rotated it out of my farm construction, like I said, in favor of the tallbird egg farm. It's unfortunate, but it looks like we were on screen long enough for these to wilt. But hey, we got the berries from them, so it just served a purpose. Okay, we're at 88%. Thankfully, it's cooled me enough during the day, and we have our umbrella on. If you can't pick up any items at the moment, don't worry about it. You can always come back for them. Just like I said, prioritize the pigskin because the pigs will eat it off the ground. But, you know, it doesn't hurt. We got 8 days of summer left, and honestly, it's not really, personally, it's not feeling like much of a stress of making it through a year of seasons in DST. It's more about trying to cover everything I would want to cover within that time frame. But like I said, I may just go in a little bit of next year's autumn, because as soon as next year's autumn comes around, you're going to be greeted with Berger, who is the seasonal boss of autumn. But I'm going to be honest with you. Even though he's a seasonal boss, Berger isn't really a boss you fight. And you'll see what I mean if we see him on screen. He is set to come in early on in autumn if you only did default time space for it. If you only did the standard vanilla 20 days. He'll come in, I want to say, close to 10 days in. He'll make a similar announcement to that you heard from Deerclop, except his won't be like eerie wheezing. It will be like roaring in the distance. So look, thankfully our pig den, our spider den has grown to tier 2. So you want it to be a tier 3 so you have more waves of spiders to farm. Okay, well, we're back. Let's get this fire going. This can turn to rot, that's totally fine. Now, I'm not going to water these crops just yet, and let me explain why. I'm going to try and show you a bit of an advanced tip, so I'm sort of cheating a little bit. I'm going to show you guys an instance of how to get giant crops. It's not universal the whole way through because, like I said, for the video I suggested, you're going to want to look for certain crop combos. Certain crops go good with other crops, other ones, they just do not. We need to get maximum happiness on them, which means they need to be free of any, killjoys, or in other words, weeds, the 4 weeds we talked about. They need to be in groups of 4 or more of like crops. So yeah, you need a family bonus, even if you're pairing them with their companion crops, as I call them. They all need to be tended at every stage, and they all need to be watered at every stage. Because they're companion crops, every time they grow up, they fertilize the soil with another type of nutrient. That's why they're companion crops. They feed each other. Now, I digress. We go onto our structure tab. We look for the little pig symbol. And we can make ourselves a pig house. However, before you do that, we're going to need to make another pen, just like this. We need a bait pen. It doesn't have to be incredibly fanciful. In fact, I think I'm going to try and vary it up a bit. Let's go ahead and make a new type of wall. We're going to be making a stone wall. Let's go with default. 6 is perfectly fine for our needs. So the only question now is, where do we put it? I guess it is a bit too much to ask for everything to fit on screen. Yeah, that wouldn't be really efficient either. We turn the meteors off, which are falling right here. I say we put them... Let's just put them up here. Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know why there's a random charcoal over here. Okay, much like with the berry farm, or sorry, unlike the berry farm, this bait pen doesn't have to be particularly big. We just need to place something down. You think about prototyping, you can always make more. Now, if you wanted to, I suppose you could make yourself a doorway to come in here, but it's really not necessary. Now, if you'll pay attention, remember I said that the pigs will go after the pigskin on the ground? Well, if you notice about the pigskin is that it doesn't have a freshness meter, so it'll never go bad. All you need to make sure of is that the pigs will never get to it. And there you go, one bait pen. So now all you need to do is build your pig houses. Now, make sure you give yourself... It won't show you the highlighted area. I'll just put it here. Okay, make sure you give yourself some space, much like with the berry farm, so that you have enough room, if you're using controller, to highlight the enemy you're going to be attacking over here in this area. Don't worry, as soon as the pig comes out, this is definitely close enough that he'll detect the pigskin, and he'll be, well, stuck on it. Also, make sure when you're making pig houses that there's plenty of room between them. Just like, I don't have super realistic placement on as a quality of life mod, but this should absolutely do. Now, as you wish, go ahead and make as many as you would like. Let's try and make these a little bit symmetrical. Oh, we need more boards. I believe I put my logs over here. Look at this guy sleeping on the job. Okay, so it's daytime, the pigs will come out, and they will immediately be drawn to the pigskin. And when full moon comes in, they'll be too addicted to the food, and you can just fight them one-on-one throughout the whole night, and you'll get yourself a guaranteed pigskin and 2 big meat every 20 days. So it effectively now goes to pay for itself. Now we've only fought one tree guard this whole time. Hopefully we can bring it to fight a second one, but no guarantees, it is RNG. Unfortunately, it's as low as 1% per felled tree. But yeah, you'd be surprised how often it does and doesn't happen. This is also how you propagate your log farm. You'll still see the impact scars of the meteorite field. Don't worry, it takes a few days for them to naturally go away. Now, I did mention real quick that I want to show how the thermal stone's durability went down. Now, the sewing kit you think is for clothing, right? Nah, you can use it for stones too. Don't ask. No, seriously, I have no idea how that works. Don't ask. Alright, I am of two minds right now. I do indeed want some more lumber. But while we're waiting for the crops to grow... I mean these crops, not our regular ones. Let's go ahead and go back to the... I should take that back. Where's my regular gold? I should have more than 10, or did I just use only 10? Well, how about that? Okay, follow my advice. Leave 20 here. Let's take some niter with us, just in case we need to make an endothermic fire pit. Not the walrus tusk. I also mentioned looking around for hunts, if you want, are totally viable as well. Oh, it's the rabbits. Okay. The rabbits are getting too close to our tooth traps, and they're going off. I thought it was birds. Yeah, morsel, they both drop morsels. Hey, look, we even have a spare here. Well, by spare, I mean one with 4% left. Alright, Chester, alas, you cannot come down there with me. Perfectly viable resource gathering. Just come to your local sinkhole. Gather what you may want or need. Oh, there's even some mushrooms down here. And remember, even though you can't see what time of day it is, you can always tell what time of day it is, or what part of the day it's on, by what mushrooms are out. Since the red mushrooms are out, it's still daytime. So something I really want to do is not only get a little bit more wood, but I really want to find the graveyard set piece in the mosaic biome, which ours is actually next door to us. So I suppose the good news is about exploring a biome is that if you haven't found a set piece in any areas that you have looked, then it narrows down where you need to look next. Because every mosaic biome has a graveyard set piece, although considering how the fishing rod fiasco went at the Oasis Lake, I'm not entirely certain anymore. So if it's not over here, then logic dictates somewhere out here. Here we go. We found it. Although unfortunately now I'm expecting to hear barking anytime now. Okay. So the graveyard will always contain some loose gold nuggets. But what's most important about it are these graves. Now, while the saplings are like this, or anything that's withered, if you dig it out, you can still get a twig out of it, but you're going to lose the spawner, so you lose the sapling itself. So, it's up to you if you're willing to take that loss. It's totally possible. The same thing goes with the mushrooms. Biggest reason I wanted to find the graveyard set piece was twofold. One, because they both involve the graves. Now, if you dig a grave, that's naturally uncouth and poor matter. If you dig up, you're going to get a trinket, just like kind of the stuff we got from Antlion that we can trade into Pig King for a lot of gold. Again, there's a table for it on the DST wiki. But it also lowers our sanity. That means that if we ever needed to, we can go around and we can dig for things that will lower our sanity so that we can always fight shadow nightmare creatures. But here's why too. These graves have high chance of dropping red and blue gems. And obviously what I'm looking for right now is red and blue gems so that we can use them as purple gems via the Presta Agitator. We're going to be hungry soon, so let's put some things down. This up. Okay, let's leave it there for now. We can always come back for it later if we absolutely have to. These pip spooks are very important for Wendy players. That's how you get morning glories from them. Well, we're definitely good on the blue gem department. What we really want is a red gem. We need 2 red gems to go with these. Now be careful. If you do dig up these graves, it's possible you could get an angry ghost. So always be ready to pull away. Okay, so we got 2 gems so far, and it looks like because of the size of our world, we don't have a very big graveyard to show for it. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna put these inside Chester for now. Because I want to make room for our trinkets here. This is worth 4 gold nuggets. This is worth 5 gold nuggets. The spork, I believe, is 4 or 5 gold nuggets. It's one of the 2, obviously. Oh, there's a grave up here. Please be a red gem. Well, I mean, it's a gem, but wrong gem. I find it more often than not they give you blue gems. It's a little bit more than frustrating. Oh yeah, I did put them up in here. Okay. Let's wrap these gold rewards up. Inside Chester. Let's go into inside Chester. Well, that is the biggest and closest collection of graves in the game. There are more graves, and they're strewn across, you know, the many forests of the world. Like, here's one over here. There's one over here. And each of those could have red gems in them. I'm surprised I didn't get even 1 red gem. Typically, I get at least 1 out of those. Something that's also frustrating is that we haven't come across too many clockworks, more specifically any bishops. Bishops are guaranteed to drop gears, but they're special in that they always drop purple gems. Maybe because they're more unique, since they're much more of a pain to deal with. It's a bit of a reward for fighting them. So with each final stage, or 3rd stage evergreen we fell, we not only get more wood, but we keep propagating our tree farm. And I know they might be scary to new players, but as you saw me when I fought one, the tree guards are really more of a bonus to you than an actual hindrance because of the living logs that they give you, which are going to be very important for advanced play. They also give you a monster meat for your trouble, and they're very slow, which means not only are they easier to deal with, but they're actually very important for learning how to kite in this game. So, mathematically speaking, our next full moon is going to be on day 71, which is going to be 5 days from now. That is also the night after we... Oh, look. Our first crops. That's also going to be the night after we've made it through a full year in DST, as per our goal. Okay, so... Even though these plants weren't fully satisfied with their growth, they've definitely propagated by one. And so now we should definitely have enough to make the numbers that we need to get giant crops. It's just going to require us to be very attentive of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn all of our crops into seeds. And each of those seeds are going to become even more seeds as we, well, grow them even further. Make sense? Not only that, but we have our water can. And we have our trusty fruit fly friend. I actually did not want to pick up the shovel. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, you'll notice that fruit fly can kind of get in the way. Just give him a friendly push out of the way. Now, depending on the size of your farm, I will say that even though the friendly fruit fly is very helpful, he really only shines in small farms because the rate of which he tends to crops manually, it's like he talks to them on his own. Very much slow compared to someone like Wormwood who can tend to them just by standing around them. So just realize that for the larger and larger crops that you raise, you're going to be facing different challenges. Okay, so really quick, while we have the opportunity, I want to go ahead and I want to show you that funny little recipe that turned out to be a joke, but was so really well done that it actually ends up being really broken. Put 1 corn, 1 honey, and 2 twigs in a crock pot. And we'll see what we get. This is a powder cake, aka a Twinkie. Why is this Twinkie so important? Well, anything that's vegetarian, like the gobblers, will go for the powder cake. The powder cake, I kid you not, has a spoilage rate of 18,500 some odd days. I'm not joking. So yeah, you don't have to worry about certain things. Okay, I believe our water pail is in one of these bundles. This is gonna go ahead and be rot. Let's go ahead and work on those later. These are gonna go to picking. We can make more carrots, more corn out of that if we wanted to. That being said, let's put these in here. Just gonna eat that for hunger. Okay, let's, oh right, there's honey here. Let's open these up. Okay. Remember to water any player where the plot is, where you see the square, like on the screen. The best way to memorize this is that it's always 3 by 3 to a square. So now that these have been successfully watered and tended to, they're totally fine for this stage. Remember, each crop has 5 stages. While we're at it, we have 2 right here. I actually want to save up for another sewing kit. Very important that we do that. Alright, let's go ahead and consolidate some things here. We're gonna go see picking and get some gold and make sure that we're done with that on our venture. Oh, that was my food bundle, whoops. This is summer, so the ground does dry up. I am a little paranoid about making sure that the watering is fine, so I have a tendency to overwater them a tiny bit. Don't worry, there's no punishment for overwatering like there is with plants in real life. Just gonna go ahead and make another weapon basket for ourselves. Oh, these grew again. So the good news is, on their first stage of every crop rotation, this is the longest they take to grow. So if you ever have to go away to do something, I mean, don't make sure you're not gone for like multiple days, right? But this takes like a full day, even in season, for the crops to grow again. Just make sure they're well taken care of. So hopefully we get giants. Unfortunately, he's gonna go to sleep, like right now. All you have to do is just hand it over to him, and he'll give you stuff. Okay, well it looks like it was just 2 gold for the sports. Kind of like in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild for Legend of Zelda, if you find yourself getting distracted a little bit, don't worry about it too much. Just keep in mind what other projects you might have that are time sensitive, like growing crops or growing them giant crops. Don't be afraid of stopping to collect a few things, because you never know when it might have actually been more beneficial to do that. Now that we're coming up on the last few days of summer, it's going to stay cooler longer. So we don't have to be so strenuous about making sure that we have our thermal stone constantly cool. Yep, just like I said, it's been well over half a day and there's still stage 1. Since there's easy access to these a little bit later, let's go ahead and start fighting some spiders. Go ahead and eat this. Right as rain. Okay, you know how this goes, guys. Step on the webbing. Do not attack them on the webbing. Hit, move away, hit, move away. Rinse and repeat. How nice of them to give us a care package. I like to call it that when it gives you 1 of each. The monster meat is definitely appreciated. The worst loot you can get is nothing but spider glands. But come on, guys, I would really like some silk. Yep, there we go. That's much better. I think that was the last wave. Alright, we'll let them spend another day to regenerate. We got 5 silk, that's pretty good. We're a few off from a new spool, but we're looking okay enough with... We're looking okay with some of our durability. Yeah, 73 is totally respectable. Okay, so what I'll probably do now is make some pierogies, because why not? Simple recipe. 1 meat, 1 vegetable, 1 egg, and the filler can be any of the other 3, just not twigs. And there's instant pierogi. Oh my, we're actually overheating a little bit. Oh right, it's day and I have my football helmet on. Whoops. And I also have a beard. A small one, but a beard. Oh, there are the hounds. Okay, I would rather have a fresher ham bats, but unfortunately we don't have that at the moment. Now, we may yet get a Vargling right now, which is a bigger hound, essentially. They do hit a bit harder, and they do take a bit longer to kill. But we have 2 football helmets. They're both relatively high, so let's not worry too much about it. Hey, we got it. Alright. And as always, for some precision play, let's go ahead and switch to mouse and keyboard. Set action key reborn. Go ahead and set these back up. Wow, we actually had some good use of that this hound trap. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they gave us any hound teeth. So yeah, I would recommend occasionally just going around and, you know, counter-bullying McTusk. Because his, they each have 2 hounds, and not only can you, you know, beat them up for hound's teeth, you can beat them up for monster meat, and for, well, you get big meat from him and from McTusk and Wee McTusk. You can also burn rot. It's not for a lot, but it's something. Since we're doing good on our lumber now, we can probably expand some of these a bit more liberally. Trust me, you stay on top of your farm, it'll be fine. Okay, these are starting to grow up into tier 2s. Because it's becoming more like autumn, we're gonna have more standard length nights and dusks. So do be aware of that. Yeah, like I said, it's surprisingly, and to be quite honest, rather disappointingly low chance to fight tree guards. To get them to spawn. I'm pretty sure Clay is aware of this, believe it or not. Yeah, for any new players, they might seem scary, especially at first, but they're actually not. And like I said, they're more advantageous than anything else. I put my shovels in Chester. So we'll go ahead and pick those up a little bit later. I put this away, slow it down. I have 2 hound's teeth here. I may try to save that for a new sewing kit. Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. Also, I would make sure not to water them until all of them are at the same stage to make sure that all of them get the watering bonus at the same time, relatively speaking. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, or rather I'm gonna go against my own advice right now. Like I said, because it's summer and it gets really dry fast, I want to make sure that there's no doubt about them getting their drinking bonus. So one of the best way to prolong the life of a seed is to actually keep it as a produce until it starts to rot. The bird will eat anything. It won't kill them or anything like that either. Actually, some people have, I think on compromising mode, changed that to where, yeah, if you feed the bird strictly off of like rotting stuff, will kill it, because obviously that's not healthy. Okay, consolidate some space by putting these in here. I mean, we have enough for healing. Let's go ahead and do that. Ah, right. Okay. So, here's a little bit of a tidbit. So far we've seen quite a few birds. By quite a few, I mean literally 2. We've seen the blackbirds. Oh, sorry, I take it back. We've seen 3. We've seen the red birds and the blackbirds, which is very common. We've seen the bluebirds of winter. But there is actually a 4th kind of bird, and it is very important for the last phase of, or the advanced late phase of the game, especially in end game for this game on the advanced track. It's called a canary. They're gold. They have they describe it as saffron feathers. What you do is you have hay. You have I can never find this guy. You would think it would be in farming, but maybe it's usually in structures. There we go. Yeah, structures. You get a friendly scarecrow. 1 pumpkin, 3 boards, 3 hay, or 3 cut grass. Now this thing is rather cute in that you can customize its look by hitting the hammer. If you hit way too many times with the hammer, this one's the most resilient of all the structures because you can hit with the hammer to change its appearance. I won't do it right now because I want to keep my hammer's usage. I'm gonna keep these watered. Now, the watering pail does run out of water relatively fast, just like your regular twig and flint equipment. There is a superior water pail. It's called the waterfowl can, but you need to fight an ocean boss for it. Oh yeah, once you have the scarecrow up, you guys start getting these guys. I believe our bird trap got used up till the end of its lifespan. So unfortunately, no more of that. Let's go ahead and refuel our water. Just know that you get about... Every use alternates between 2 and 3%. So you get that many uses out of it. Just realize that you're gonna have to, if you want to, you can make more watering cans so that you can rotate between the ones that are empty and the ones that are full until they're all pretty much full, and you can just go ahead and do like a refueling mission, if you will, or a refilling mission. Thankfully, the catcoons and the frogs have been going at each other, so I'm going to take this time for distraction to refuel my watering can. Wow, that cat won. It looks like one of the cats over here died out, but it's stalemate now. Nah, we'll just leave it. Yep. As I said before, don't be afraid to go venture out. There's some opportunities that you can give yourself if you don't feel too hunkered down by staying at base all the time. Things are going to gradually come back to life, and as we see the turn of the season back to autumn, you see the spring birch nuts turning back into regular birch nut trees. I should mention something as well. The mature birch nut trees, if I haven't already, just to reemphasize, the mature birch nut trees in autumn, not even in summer, not even while they look like autumn birch nut trees, with full maturity with 2 branches like this, they will yield 2 birch nuts, which you can use to replant for more birch nut trees, or use them to get that much more cooked birch nuts for any trail mix you might want to still make. But, you know, pierogies exist now, and it's just unfortunate, but it's a reality you have to accept, and consider that's actually a good thing, where certain dishes and certain strategies and certain tactics have their time in the sun, depending on what part of the game you're in. You know, early, mid, to late, and then end game, respectively. What I like to do is, since you can use the rod for fertilizing, even up the plots, you can just leave it near the farm itself. Okay, this one's ready to be mined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rebuilding, just like with the trees, repropagating. If these were 2, you know, marble beans, it's fine, I would have planted them anyway. If they were 2 marble, just like they were, I was obviously going to replant them. And you just keep the cycle going. Oh, here's my other handbat. It was hiding behind the rocks. Gosh, we're coming up on our last day of summer already. Okay, let's see here. Alright. I'm gonna need you guys to level with me a little bit. What I would end up doing is just going around the map during autumn to go look through the to go look through the graves to find a red gem, of which it is reasonably high enough. Now, I will mention this right now. On the basic track, this is absolutely doable because of, like I said, for the chances, but it also seems like the game was kind of being a bit, you know, stubborn with me this run through as well. Which, don't get me wrong, this game has that tendency anyhow, or regardless. I guess it just comes natural to this game. But this is also a, for instance, a demo and a tutorial. So let's just go ahead and say that, spare us a little bit of time. I am going to go a little bit into autumn, but not too much. So what I'm going to do is give myself 2 red gems. I was debating whether or not I would go actually take advantage of it because of that earthquake, but if you go back and look very carefully in the early days of autumn and even winter when we're looking for our light bulbs, there was actually a red gem that fell from the surface during the earthquake, and this other red gem will count it for looking through the graves during spring. And like I said, I just want to also save time for my own sake a little bit. You've seen it to be no different than when we were going and picking up or digging for gems normally. You've seen it with the blue gems. It happens the same way with the red gems. There is really no difference. But this is going to be very important because this is how we're going to be able to manage to get the last station that we need, and to finish the Celestial Orb side quest, as I like to call it. So you actually, like I said before, it has lousy chances any reason why me and other people mod the game to actually include a living forest set piece. Oh, there we go. I got what I wanted. Okay, I'm gonna bait out his attack, run around him. You don't hear this track very often. Let's use the handbat out of here. It's soggy for some reason. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm aware I'm not wearing armor. This is just how you test yourself. Oh, I do have the piggyback on, so I'm actually going to change it, as you've seen, to 3 swings, and then move away from him. Don't worry, he doesn't destroy anything like other giants when he walks over stuff. Got a little greedy there. Remember, if you're used to it, like on controller, you can do what's called a fading attack, which is you hit him while you're moving away. Oh, I took a damage. If I'm being honest, there weren't enough reasons for me to actually use my healing items. And there he goes. So, here we go. We're good. It's time to put the pierogies to use, yeah? Okay. As you get used to it, you will find the fun in it. You just gotta take it in strides that sometimes you get hit. And you'll do just fine. And, as you could tell from their regular versions to now these giant crops, we are getting what's called a critical success. Now remember, every 15 successful growths of a crop will spawn Lord Fruit Flies on you, but this is a group of 12, so yeah. I was trying to make sure if the 4x4 wasn't going off of 16 and I accidentally counted it as 12, but no, it's 12. It's 12 crops. We have so much food. I just hate to see stale food in my unit. I'll just use that right now. If like I said, use your chests for a chest zone if you would like to pack away anything that is particularly important. We're going to be moving on to the rest of this stuff right here in a second. Let's just enjoy the sprouting of our giant crops. It is really satisfying to grow these, especially when you learn the combinations and you try them out and you work on developing your strategy for how you want to cycle growing your crops. And again, I find it to be the more appealing and not the only appealing, but a very appealing and very calming portion of the game. Yep, that is a critical success. All giants. That is the minimum number you need. You need at least rows of 4 because of the 2-to-1 ratio for the tomatoes to dragon fruit. All you have to do is make sure that you're alert that when the tree falls, just watch out for any tree guards that may spawn around you. Their living logs are very important for the advanced track and for late game, if I haven't reiterated enough already. And of course they give you a monster meat, which is, you know, for your trouble. It may seem like inviting troubles onto yourself, but it's really not. And when you do go onto the Warley walkthrough or do some advanced stuff on your own accord, you'll realize how very important it was to have a chance to start spawning some tree guards. And again, it just goes to say that, along with, well, in its own right, the Deerclops fight, even though we tank her and fight her, use of armor, by that same token, Antlion, learning to fight, you know, more in depth as well with Moose Goose and the Mosslings, and then the Tree Guard. The game does offer, on a very basic introductory level, regular fights that will benefit you in the long run, not just with their loot, but with the experience they give you. Now, this game definitely does have its share of lousy fights, and I purposely avoided them. Because, like I said, the whole purpose of this tutorial and a demo, for instance, if you will. Oh, we have a mushroom right here. Why not? Okay, this is the last day of summer, and we're gonna go right back into autumn, and we will have successfully survived 1 year in DST. The eggs rotting is totally fine because they are a key ingredient to a very potent, it's technically categorized as a weapon, but you can actually make gunpowder in this game. It's right here. It costs 1 charcoal, 1 niter, and 1 rotting egg. Guess it's supposed to be from the, like, sulfuric idea from it. Now, you would think gunpowder is much more important. I should have brought it up earlier. It's actually more of a tool than it is a weapon, although I definitely won't deny that there definitely exist videos out there who have done quite the contrary. You can, if you wanted to, if certain bosses are giving you a big hassle, even some of the ones that we've covered, if you go through the trouble of making up enough, you know, rotten eggs and mining enough niter, you can indeed enable yourself to make enough gunpowder to do enough damage. Just be aware that because Clay is aware of this, that to a certain number, I don't remember off the top of my head because I don't use it and I don't think players should depend on it. Like I said, look into it for yourself and do it once or twice if you would prefer. It's not bad by any means. I just think it could potentially lead to, like, bad habits, if that makes sense. But I digress. There are definitely videos out there of how you can, like, one-shot bosses by using a lot of gunpowder. Just keep in mind you have to go to the trouble of mining that niter and letting those eggs rot instead of turning them into gold for picking. I just don't particularly see it as... It's something you can do a few times, you know? But like I said, just prevent yourself, show some self-regulation, and don't depend on it. But if you need to use it a few times to get yourself going, then yeah, go ahead and indulge yourself. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pick these crops. Since they're giant, you can't pick them up on their own. That's because each of these giant crops are kind of like a piñata in that regard. The reason you grow giant crops and not just let the other regular crops grow themselves is because every single crop beyond giant crop will only give you one produce of that crop. So yeah, any non-giant, no matter how happy it was, aside from becoming a giant crop, will only give you one fruit or vegetable. Each giant crop, when you open them, like the reason I say it's a piñata because you have to open it with a hammer, right? It is rather fun and exciting.